Welcome back to Allison Customs Project Car TV. I'm Jeff Allison, and thank you for watching.
Well, welcome back to YouTube. So today I've got another project, a tool project. What I've got is I have a couple of MIG welders and a TIG welder, and of course you're never using more than one at one time, but I don't have anywhere to store all of the tips and the gas shields and the wire, and it just goes on and on, all the tools, everything. And I converted a cart. I'll show a picture of it here, do a little walk around. Okay, so here's my current welding cart. As you can see, stuff is piled up all over it. The tools are hard to get to. The MIG welders, they're kind of behind the helmet, and then upper one is my TIG welder. Fashioned a little rack to hold some of the rod. My grinder just kind of sits on top up there for grinding the tungsten, and I extended the bottle rack in the back to hold 2 bottles, one for each of the machines. But it's a mess. You never can find what you're looking for, and so I want to get rid of that situation and build myself something more usable and with some drawers and that kind of thing. So I converted a cart to hold them both a couple of years ago, and it's worked all right. But as I've gotten more and more into the welding, I keep running out of storage unless I put it in another toolbox, and then I'm constantly chasing around to go find it or find the parts. So today's project starts with a 1/4 inch piece of sheet metal or plate steel, and I ordered a full sheet and then just had them sheared off in 2-foot sections. Makes it something I can handle, as well as it's usually big enough for 99% of the projects I do. Even when I go over to the plasma table and cut stuff out, I usually can keep it into a 2-foot by 4-foot panel. So. Okay, so what I'm doing, as you can see, they on this drawer, or on this shelf, they put a rib here to strengthen it up where the casters go. I'll leave that plate sticking out about 8 inches, so it'll support the 2 bottles for the welders. And so because of that, I don't need the ribs, and I want the whole plate to fit nice and tight up against here. What I'm going to do first here is trace around the bottom of this bottle and then move it over. And I have 2 bottle locations. Okay, so now that I got, and really when I was cutting this, I should have planned ahead and just left this piece on, but now that I've got it essentially built up, based on the design, what I really should have done is just left that metal welded on, or on there, and never cut it off, but I wasn't thinking when I did it. But got that edge beveled already. With those welded on, I can go ahead and weld it back on, and then I'll flip it over, weld the back side as well. And I'll probably put a couple little supports out here off the bottom of this tray. Just got to make sure I stay clear of where my casters are going to go. So I'm going to get that welded and then flip it over. Okay, so now that the wheels are bolted onto that base plate that I've built, it's time to go ahead and get some uprights here. And what this is got a shelf here with an empty gap and then a toolbox. And then the toolbox, I'm going to use it to put the welders actually on. I'll probably build a little mount to tilt them up. So we'll see that coming up. But next up is go ahead and put these uprights on here and put the crossbars in to support them. and then we can set the toolbox in place. Okay guys, so what I've done here is I'll show you the cart in a little bit. I got the rest of the toolbox put together. You guys saw me build the tray for the bottom of the bottles there. Well, I needed some way to grab the top part of the bottles to keep them stable. So this is what I built. It's going to mount to the side of the box like that. And it's going to pivot here in the middle. Each side swings out so you can load the bottle. And right now I just got a bolt there, but I'll get me a retaining pin deal. Same thing on this side. And I don't know, it's probably more complicated than it needed to be. Kind of like how it looks. Fits up in there between the bottles real nice. And then the next thing here is I needed a place for my grinder. So very simple tray. It's going to go on the other end from the bottles down by the handle. Grinder sits here. And then the last thing was I needed some way to mount my, or to hold my TIG rod. So that's the bottom. It bolts on to one side, then about yay high. It'll bolt on also, and this kind of goes on the back, and then the TIG rod goes in the tube behind it. So that's what I've been doing all morning. And I'll take you over and give you a view of what the cart looks like so far with the toolbox and everything put together. Okay, so this is what I've come up with. Like I said, I used a toolbox, and I didn't film putting it together because it's just following instructions. Things I did change was this top was made to go all the way to the back and hinge up, and I cut it narrower so it would fit down inside and cut the hinge loose and then rivet it to the back there so it would have a little bit of a slope. Got enough room up there for at least my 2 welders, may even have enough room for my TIG or my plasma cutter, which I hadn't really planned for, but if I do, I'm going to try and squeeze that in as well. And you can see down there at the bottom, that tray will give me a place to store extra wire or tops of the bottles. Put my hood down in there. Got more wire, my foot pedal here for the TIG. All the drawers have a lock on them. Keep most of my, mostly small stuff, small vice grips and stuff like that, panel clips. Put all my MIG stuff in here, all my TIG stuff up here, and then over here, keep wire brushes and the wrench for the valves, and just gives me a nice area to sort stuff. Over here comes a little tray. I keep some stuff here, and then my grinder is going to mount right here, so it's sitting up as high as I can. And then of course the MIG welder will sit right here so that the door will open. So the next thing to do is get all this stuff cleaned up, the splatter off of it, prime it and paint it so it matches. So then my last little project is I'm going to mount this on the back here somewhere and put 2 outlets for the MIG and the TIG in it. I'm also going to put me a power strip here so I can plug my grinder in, and then I'll run about a 20-foot cord off of this that I can plug over into the wall or wherever I'm working. So that's my last project. I'll show you guys that as I get the other stuff painted, and I'll start working on this. Okay guys, here's the finished product. I'll take you on a walk around, so I'll try not to move the camera too much. There's the electrical that I was talking about. So everything plugs in, runs to a cord about 20-25 feet long. Place for all my rod. Okay, so there's the bottle mount. You can see how that worked out. It was nice and tight. And give them a good shake here. Nothing moved.
Thanks for watching Allison Customs Project Car TV. Like us on Facebook and check us out at AllisonCustomsOnline.com.